Smartphone is a part of my life. It's very important to me because most of the messages I will use it in the smartphone, in the apps. It does play a very important role in my life because it's not only using for receiving messages but for capturing photos, keep connecting with the families and friends.
Smartphone, it means as a tool of communication to me.
It's very, very important, especially communicating with parents and friends and families.
I experienced that sometimes I got distracted from the smartphones. For example, if there's any friends' messages coming in, I've been distracted. I got distracted because I might have to check the messages. Yeah, so it disrupts me from studying.
Especially when I'm having midterms or finals, smartphone tends to be a bit more distractive lah. As in, I tend to go for YouTube or songs and then yeah.
Well, I'm just like any other students like you guys. I do check my phones when I see like, pop, there's a WhatsApp message, pop, there's a news message coming in. You get distracted for 1 or 2 seconds, but then you need to come back quickly. Yeah, I mean, you just can't get it out of your eyesight. Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever in lecture class, and sometimes lecturers tend to go a bit fast, and we usually use our smartphone camera to take pictures from the slide. And sometimes we try to take pictures of our friends' notes as well.
In fact, for my classes, I don't really print out my notes. I just use my phone, and that's come in handy many times. In fact, like studying last minute for the tests and everything, I can just flip through my phone. So it's actually pretty convenient.
Sometimes it helps me see my calendar, to browse the web and read through my notes.
Well, I do agree. It helped a lot in academic. It changes the way a lecturer and a student learn. Students seems to be no longer having the interest to come to school because they can access all the materials at anywhere, anytime, handheld. So you don't really have to be physically present in class, and that makes a whole new change in the way of learning environment, where lecturers now would probably have to stand in front of a lecture theatre with no audience and speak in front of probably a monitor or a laptop and just pre-record everything and upload it online, and students can actually retrieve it anywhere as they like. But then when it comes back to when I said it changes the way people learn, in the conventional days, we have face-to-face interactions. Students don't understand, they can raise their hands and ask questions. So if we were to actually adopt and adapt this kind of environment, I would probably suggest perhaps we will have a learning group or a whiteboard where we can also have Q&A happening at the same time, not just in lectures they're retrieved and then they just look at it, they don't ask questions. Because I believe in communication world, it boils back down to speaking. You need to get feedback to understand whether what you think and what you interpret from the lectures, PowerPoints or slides, to be understandable in a manner where the lecturer wants the students to understand.
For me, I use smartphone in class as well, especially during case study, because sometimes students, they don't print out assignments or case studies. So having a smartphone is useful in class because students can refer to notes or to read case study, and they don't have to print it out. But of course, sometimes it can also be a problem if students use it for other purposes in class. Too much of smartphone, it can be detrimental as well. It could be negative things, right? But if you use it for the right purpose, then I don't see it as a problem, and I don't think we can ignore the impact of smartphone. It's going to be there. Everyone is using it, so yeah, we might as well use it for the right purpose.
If everyone in the world is using smartphone, if I don't use it, if it's like I'm left out of the loop, it'd be very hard lah. But if no one else is using smartphone, I don't see the point. So I would rather live without a smartphone. But in this world, I don't think that's possible.
I wouldn't say it's totally a no or an incorrect action to actually check your phones when it's in class. I would allow my students to do it, but then not to the extent where when I'm speaking, you are, most of your time and your eyes are resting on that phone screen. You will have to also come back and pay attention. So this is actually very, very contradicting, because as a lecturer, if you forbid the student to actually check your phones, I think this is no longer the thing that's happening in our society. Students need to keep themselves updated. Lecturers need to keep themselves updated what's going on. For example, if something happens in Japan and there's a tsunami, for example, and you only check your phone like 1 or 2 hours later, you probably, be someone who is really backdated. So I think you can, but then you need to know how and when to control. So this is just a gadget. It has a lot of convenience and facility, but it's you who actually used it. If you misuse it, don't blame the phones, blame yourself.